It is Championship Sunday in the America East Conference and a gorgeous day to crown that champion in men's soccer. Today it's the 2-seed New Hampshire Wildcats, undefeated at home this season, against the road-tested UMBC Retrievers, the number 5 seed in America East. Hello and welcome to Wildcat Stadium alongside Jeff Poster, Alistair Ingram here with you. Glad you could join us here on Championship Sunday. And Jeff, UNH, a team that has never won this conference championship title, never even hosted the game. So a chance for this program to do something pretty special today.
Yeah, I mean, they've never won it, but the stage couldn't be set for them better. I mean, they get to host it here in Durham. They thought they were going to be out at Stony Brook, but it's UMBC here today. Pulled the upset, and UNH gets to host.
Yeah, the Retrievers going down to Long Island, getting a 1-0 road shutout on Wednesdays. We take a look at how the teams got there today. A surprise win for the 5 seed. New Hampshire, though, holding serve at home, fairly convincing against the UMass Lowell team that made the title game last year.
Yeah, they took down a team that was in this game a season ago, a 2-0 victory for UNH. They're a defensive-minded team, but they still managed to get a couple of goals, a couple of big ones in a big moment.
And New Hampshire, one of the best defensive soccer teams in the country. One of the guys trying to break down that defense today, a young Italian, Cesare Marconi, and not often you see a leading scorer come off the bench.
Leading scorer, but he also is second in the conference in shots. This is an offensive-minded guy, comes off the bench. That's because he's young. You know, he's coming over from Italy, still adjusting to life here in the United States, but he can get it done, and he can get into a defense like UNH.
Little undersized, but Marconi very dangerous. 5 goals on the year. Another guy coming into his own, Antonio Calaci for New Hampshire. 5 goals on the season for him, including a big one Wednesday against Lowell.
Yeah, that 5th one ended up being the game winner against UMass Lowell in that 2-0 victory. He gets the one there. He's going to try and lead an offense for a defensive-minded team like UNH.
Well, UNH looking for its first America East championship in men's soccer. UMBC has won 4 of these in the last decade. It's the 2 and the 5 seed going to battle today at Wildcat Stadium. The kickoff is next.
Sometimes you're ready.
Joe, ready?
Ready.
Sometimes you're not.
Ready.
Sometimes you can't wait for that moment. And sometimes it sneaks up on you.
Ready.
But whenever you're ready, or ready as you'll ever be, we're ready, as we always are. From the big moments to the small ones, and everything in between. We'll handle the financials. Service Credit Union. Ready to serve.
And welcome back to Durham, the America East Men's Soccer Championship game on ESPN3. Alistair Ingram and Jeff Poster here with you at Wildcat Stadium. Take a look at some of the starters for today's matchup. The number 5 seed UMBC, Jeff. It seems like a different hero every single game for this team. 9 of their 10 starters in the field are from Maryland.
Yeah, both these teams are actually pretty locally based unless they're coming internationally, but no surprise here. There's the same lineup that they went with in the victory over Stony Brook. They're trying to ride this hot wave that they've got going on the road, and these are the guys that are going to try and do it.
And UNH on the other side, a stout defensive team to say the very least. They've allowed 2 goals in their last 7 games. They've got the goalkeeper of the year and the defender of the year in this conference.
Yeah, you see Josh Bauer and Lars Huxall right there kind of leading this defensive-minded team. Huxall's numbers and this defense as a whole, it starts and ends with him, but they're just incredible, and this unit has been pretty good at getting, not allowing any sort of goals to get past them.
And the 2 guys leading these respective programs, one of them knows a thing or two about conference championships. That is Pete Caringi. He's been at UMBC for almost 3 decades and 4 championships in the last decade.
Yeah, this is his 28th season. I mean, he's got almost 300 wins. He's a guy, like you said, he knows a thing or two. This is not his first rodeo. He's been to the College Cup back in 2014, and then Mark Hubbard on the other side. He's kind of the new guy.
New guy on the block, 4th season,
yes.
but Before coming to UNH, won a Division II national championship at Southern New Hampshire. So, again, two programs right now that, in terms of history, a lot more success on UMBC side. But UNH, all the pressure's on them. They're the 2 seed. And, this is a UMBC team coming in as the 5 that is not expected to win this match.
Yeah, you're right. UNH, they're hosting. They're the 2 seed. They are the favorite here, as they should be. I mean, they've had a brilliant season, undefeated at home. But like you said, Mark Hubbard, he's been in a championship game before. Can he do it now here in the 4th season here at UNH at the Division I level?
And it's a gorgeous day, as we mentioned, for championship soccer. Almost 40 degrees at game time, sunny, a west wind at 11 miles an hour. And not a single cloud in the sky. The fans filing in here on a Sunday, and really a great setting here at Wildcat Stadium, where this New Hampshire team literally never loses. They're 19-0-3 since starting to play here 2 years ago.
Yeah, they've been impressive. Something about the cooking here. They're comfortable in Wildcat Stadium in Durham. I mean, it's a beautiful facility here, and they just take advantage of it.
The Wildcats 9-0 at home this season. They've outscored their opponents in Wildcat Stadium 39-8 in their history at this relatively brand new venue, renovated a few years back. UNH will be in the home white today, and UMBC in that road black. And the third matchup between these two schools in the Americas Championship game. The previous 2 came back in 2010 and 2012. Both games were scoreless and both went to PKs, won by UMBC.
Yeah, that's kind of what maybe we're expecting, maybe a feeling out process, maybe a little guarded, hanging back, let the shots come when they come. This is also the second matchup this season, but the one difference is Quantrell Jones. UNH did not have to go against him in net last time, and that could be a factor.
And you listen to Pete Caringi, UMBC's longtime head coach. Last matchup was all the way back in September.
Yeah.
It seems like years ago. And this UMBC team had a lot of injuries back then, especially defensively. They feel like they're healthy, and they're obviously rounding into form now, having won back-to-back road games at Vermont and at Stony Brook. 2 very tough places to win.
Yeah, they're road-tested, literally.
Now, this is their 5th consecutive road game. Pete Caringi was joking that he hasn't had a chance to unpack his suitcase in weeks. They got back from Stony Brook at 3-4 in the morning on Thursday morning, had a couple of days to rest, and really not much activity for the Retrievers at home. Their practice is basically just walkthroughs. He said rest is the most important thing right now for a team that's been on the road now for a couple of weeks straight.
Yeah, you got to kind of keep that momentum going. I mean, maybe you should leave the suitcase packed. It's working for them, clearly. But, yeah, keep the legs fresh, keep the rest going. These guys know what they're doing at this point in the season. Just make sure that their minds are ready to go. And that's a big thing, is battling the mental battle of a championship game.
Quantrell Jones will loft it forward. The guy that took over the starting reins in net midway through the season from Kieran O'Loughlin, who actually played a big role in their quarterfinal win in penalties, saving 3, scoring 1 at Vermont in the upset. Up the near sideline, it's Johnny Wolf as he lofts in toward the back post over Jones's head as he dives, and will keep it in bounds. Johnny Wolf, keep an eye on him, number 22 on the near wing, very dangerous on the flanks from that back line.
Yeah, they try to move things through their defense. I mean, you got a couple guys. We already mentioned Bauer. He's had 23 shots on the season, but Wolf, he's got 9. Still looking for that first goal. Had a good opportunity to create something there, and testing Jones a little bit here in the first couple of minutes.
Wolf's a member of the American All-Rookie team. Again, UNH has the goalie and the defender of the year. The 6th best defensive team in college soccer this season, a goals against average of .56, and just 2 goals against in their last 7 games. It's going to be tough for UMBC, a team that's not quite as offensively talented as they were 4 years ago in the College Cup, to break down this team, because very few teams have been able to do that as we get to the flag up for offside against UMBC.
Especially here at Wildcat Stadium, too. And you can already see UNH defense just kind of locking down here, and Huxall will get his first touch.
And speaking of Mark Hubbard, UNH's head coach, a lot of the questions we asked him midweek were about defense, and he obviously credits his defense. They're a fantastic unit. They've got a fabulous German goalie who's a grad student in Huxall, but he said it's a misnomer to think they're a defensive team. They possess the ball, they attack, and he thinks their offense makes them a better defensive team.
Well, that's, a lot of coaches across any sport will think that, the best way to have a good defense is to have a good offense, or vice versa, depending on the way you look at it.
But it's hard not to focus on the defense. I mean, when you allow 9 goals in an entire season and 2 in a 7-game span, some of the questions initially are probably going to be about defense.
Yeah, especially, and then you get the accolades, the defensive player, the goalkeeper of the year, everything's there. So when you say you're not a defensive team, something, you may like, I don't know. I think you're a defensive team.
Well, they certainly have done enough. They scored 2 goals in the first half on Wednesday to beat UMass Lowell. Antonio Calachi scoring the first.
Yep.
Right around the midway point of that first half, then an own goal late to take a 2-0 lead, and UMass Lowell really didn't have much
They
in the
didn't
way of a
even
comeback.
get a lot of shots, opportunities in general. Even if you take away the scoring of UNH, UMass Lowell they couldn't really find anything.
Kalachi's pass to the sideline is out of the reach of Jack Doherty. He scored the only goal in the first meeting between the two sides back in September. All-conference second-team selection is Doherty.
Not a great throw in there from UMBC right to Josh Bauer.
Velasquez steps up for UNH. He had the feed to Kalachi in that first half. A fabulous left-footed ball that Kalachi one-timed in with his left foot to open the scoring Wednesday in the semifinal. Tracking to the corner flag is Kyle Saunderson and knock it into touch. He's the rock of this defense, according to Pete Caringi. Defending on Kalachi on the far side. Very dangerous, 5 goals and 4 assists for the Floridian.
It's been pretty good so far this season. Takes a lot of shots as well. I mentioned how Marconi, coming off the bench for UMBC in the Open, is top 10 in several categories. Well, Kalachi, he's right there as well.
Wolf the long throw, and it's in! UNH takes the lead. It's Josh Bauer, the conference's defender of the year, and 4.5 minutes in, a dream start for the hosts.
Well, we talked about this even before the game got going, that one of these teams, if they can get out to an early lead, that might be just enough. And you see the beautiful throw in here. Perfect placement, the header, and Jones, I don't know if he just misread it. He didn't even make much of an attempt. So quick moving shot there. And Bauer, big time strike.
Bauer wearing the captain's armband, his 3rd goal of the season. We go to our net cam and you see the gorgeous header that goes off the post. Not a whole lot that Jones could do. And Bauer gets UNH off to the start it desperately needed here at home to really take UMBC out of what might have been a passive game plan.
Yeah, I don't know if Jones maybe thought that Bauer was just going to flat out miss it. I mean, it came maybe off the little bit of the side of his head, but it's just perfect placement, a great throw in. Give credit to Wolf for a lot of that.
UNH created a goal, an own goal Wednesday against UMass Lowell on a long throw just like that from Wolf as a retriever goes down on the near sideline.
It's
Dylan Potzel.
Yep. There's already been a couple of moments of physical play.
So we talked about this off air before the game that, you know, if there's an early goal in this game, it'll be very interesting to see how it affects the tactics because UNH is such a great defensive team. UMBC is not a team that typically sits back. Pete Caringi wants to attack. That's his coaching style. Now UMBC, a lot of time left, obviously, but they've got to do something at some point to move this defense and try and find some quality grade A chances.
Well, they got to stay level-headed, too. You can't all of a sudden panic because you're down early. Stick to your game plan. See if you can find a way through that back line. It's tough to break through those 4 guys at UNH.
Now, speaking like there's 5 minutes left in the game, but that's sometimes how it feels against UNH.
That's
They had a second. UNH with 2 early ones. It's Valencia, the Californian senior, and the Wildcats double their lead less than 6 in.
I was not expecting the fact that you couldn't look away of this UNH offense. They're finding all kinds of space as they get close and inch to the box, and Jones has been left dumbfounded back there. Take another look. Placement from the far side. Pass across the field. Just great placement. Left foot. And Valencia finding his way into the back of the net. And I think everybody from UMBC is just stunned right now. 2-0, 2-0. 39:05 left in the first half.
The Chile Championship Sunday not affecting the senior from California. Has got the gloves on. Fabulous finish, and it was Linus Fahlberg, who's a very flashy player on the ball, making that move to his right, the centering pass just over the defender's head. And again, it's a finish right into a corner that Jones really can't fault him for. That's just a dynamic finish into the right corner.
Both goals set up perfectly from that far side right in front of the UNH bench.
A few of the Wildcat fans are still filing in. They've missed 2 goals already.
don't think anybody expected that. This is already a high-flying game for the Wildcats. But I stand with my point that UMBC, don't panic here. You still got lots of time.
The Retrievers have had a magical run here. They've been finding ways to win every single round, even going back to the final few games of the regular season just to get into the tournament.
Yeah.
As the 5 seed, beating Vermont in penalties. UVM had 3 different chances to win that game. They go down to Stony Brook, the regular season champions, get a 60th minute goal from Jordan Dove to win that game. This might be their tallest task to date, trying to come back from 2 goals down against the top 10 defensive team in the country. Offside flag up against UNH.
It's one of those things where teams, how long can they keep battling back from behind as underdogs? I mean, the Retrievers, they're kind of writing the book on it here in the latter part of the season. And pretty spectacular October, transitioning into the month of November in the America East Tournament. No one probably expected them as you went back maybe the early part of October to be in this spot today.
So for UNH, it's 2 goals in less than 2 minutes. Bauer in the 5th minute, Valencia in the 7th. And a 2-0 lead for UNH, hosting the title game for the very first time and looking for their very first America East Championship. And the Wildcats will get a free kick through Valencia.
Yeah, a little bit. He gets tangled up here with Colin Wayan. Just over his back.
They'll be quickly taken by Kalachi. And we'll see some UNH possession game here as it's coughed up by Bauer, who scored that first goal. And UMBC goes back on the attack with Wyant on the left flank, a junior from Perry Hall, Maryland. Splits a double team and earns a trip. Repaying the favor that time was Valencia. Lead official today, Carlos Fernandez, assisted by Casio Ribeiro, Carlos Amato. Ed Resendez is our 4th official.
Well, they're going to play. Let's see how much they play a factor into, how much they let these guys play it out. If they let them get any bit physical. So far, a couple of whistles. Nothing egregious.
Patrick Jean-Gilles and John Bell around this one for UMBC. It is a windy day. You can see that ball barely sitting still for Jean-Gilles as he goes short to Bell. First time left-footed ball in, and that will go over the crossbar. The wind favoring UNH here in this first half, again blowing about 10, 11 miles an hour at kickoff.
Yeah, left to right, you can see all the flags moving that direction. But otherwise, pretty good weather for this. It's sunny. It's not too cold. It's what you'd expect maybe mid-November.
UNH, I should say UMBC, played their quarterfinal game in a driving rainstorm in Burlington, Vermont. So they'll take this. Not a cloud in the sky today. Great weather for a championship Sunday match and a trip to the NCAA tournament on the line for one of these 2 programs. Jean-Gilles will chip it forward. He's now a senior out of Woodbridge, Virginia. A couple of assists on the season. UMBC in the far wing with Trey Pulliam. He's out of Baltimore. Works against Bauer, tries to turn him inside. Got Bauer backpedaling, but the second layer was Cal Brewster.
Yeah, good help from UNH defensively. UMBC initially looked like they were going to have an odd man rush. UNH kind of collapsed down on it and had no problem stopping it.
Unable to keep this one in for the Retrievers, David Harris. A 2-0 New Hampshire lead, little over 10 minutes into this first half of play. Here's Fahlberg, the talented Swede. And that'll be a UMBC throw.
That's fortunate for the Retrievers.
Wolf was already lining that long throw up.
Yeah, and that's where they've had their success. Close call. Got it right.
It's the 21st meeting of the series. UMBC has the slight edge, 8 wins, 6 losses, 6 ties. It's the 5th meeting in the America East Tournament, and UNH has never beat UMBC in the conference playoffs. 5 yards inside the UMBC side. A heavy challenge there coming from Juan Velasquez.
Yeah, he got a little aggressive there on the slide. Player's slow to get up. Look at this. Took him out in the lower body. I believe believe that was David Harris.
Yeah, David Harris a little shaken up. No caution on the plays. Harris still shaken up on that far sideline, limping. Harris is senior, originally from Hawaii, but attended high school in Maryland. And John Geel with those neon yellow cleats will put it into the UNH box. It got holed up in the wind there and blasted away by Bauer. So UNH with that wind advantage in the first half taking advantage. And UMBC will have to break down this vaunted Wildcat defense not once but twice at least here today. Jones will put it up into the air on the far sideline, out into the retriever bench. Pete Karinji is there, also with his son, Pete Karinji III, who's a former All-American. See if he can lend a hand. He was the American Striker of the Year twice. He'll have to impart some wisdom to try and get his squad back into this one.
Just the riches of the UMBC coaching staff. So much experience. All starting with Coach Karinji. He's not fazed, I'm sure, by the 2-0 deficit.
He's a guy that went all the way to the College Cup in 2014. They won 4 straight games by shutouts. Made it all the way to the national semifinal, where they eventually fell to Virginia. Now, UNH last year made some noise in the tournament.
Yeah.
They won 2 games, reaching the 3rd round for the first time ever, and scored a goal against Indiana. First team to do that in quite a while last season, but eventually fell to the Hoosiers. So coming off a dream season, but still looking for that automatic berth to get into the tournament. They still have not done that.
Got there as the at-large. Like you said, Mark Hubbard, he's done a pretty good job here. 4th season, coming back. He was here previously, earlier in his career. Got the nod after getting a national championship game under his belt at the Division II level with Southern New Hampshire, not too far away. And this is now, you can see the staple he's put on this program.
A win today would be Hubbard's 47th in just 4 seasons. And New Hampshire had never won 10 games or more in 4 consecutive seasons until his tenure began.
Nice run for the senior class here as well.
Johnny Wolf on the sideline gets past 2 retrievers and still in possession.
Yeah, good footwork there by Wolf.
Centers with the right. It gets past 1. It is Fahlberg at the back post and can't get quite enough on the lefty effort. It was Kalachi who was the initial target.
Yeah, if that gets through cleanly to Kalachi, we might be looking at a 3-score game here for UNH already. And obviously the second attempt, it's there, but by that point, everybody's read it perfectly. And like you said, just couldn't get enough on it. UNH, the offense came to play.
Johnny Wolf, we've already talked about him 2-3 times already in the game.
Yeah.
Had the throw-in, but multiple times up the right sideline, making things happen.
A redshirt freshman from Hopkinton. One of the few guys that, if they're not from New Hampshire or from Europe, he's from Massachusetts.
And there is Wolf on that right sideline, nearly picking out the cutting teammate, and Fahlberg was waiting at the back post.
Yeah, Fahlberg there to at least keep Jones honest at the end of the play, but beautiful opportunity, and so far the Wildcats have created many more opportunities to put points up on the board.
Wildcats come in with a 3-game winning streak. They've outscored their opponents 5-0 during that span, so now 7-0 in the last 3+ games. The last goal they allowed all the way back on October the 20th in a 1-1 tie at Hartford. So UMBC's got some work to do today. Try and figure out this UNH defense that almost never allows goals, especially at home. Fans of the Americas Conference provides member schools and their athletic programs a platform upon which student athletes can achieve both collegiate and life success through the promotion and nurturing of athletic excellence, academic achievement, and leadership on and off the fields. And Patrick Jean-Gilles will take this free kick for UMBC, trying to find a way back into this title match. Just under the half-hour mark here in this first half. It goes over the head of Kyle Saunderson. And Velasquez will clear for New Hampshire.
Even though it went over the head, the difference I see there immediately, you see the 5 white kits all backing up, backpedaling, and just gaining position over the retrievers. They're not going to allow anything easy on free kicks, throw-ins. UMBC is going to have to earn it. Confusion there. Whose possession?
They'll go to UMBC, thrown in by Bell. There's Valencia, who scored the second goal. Again, 2 goals in less than 2 minutes in the opening 6 minutes or so of this Americas Championship game. Valencia will square it wide. And we talked to Mark Hubbard midweek about his defense and what makes them so special. He said, really, it's just a buy-in. It's a unit that understands where everyone is, and they all buy in. They take pride in it. It's not necessarily all X's and O's. It's about being on the same page, and they take great pride in clean sheets, and they've got 9 of them this year.
Yeah, the best teams in any sport know their roles and accept it regardless of what it is. They're not trying to, build up the stat sheets or anything.
Left-footed ball in from Doherty. That gets blocked by Saunderson.
Not a lot of room. UMBC, a nice job collapsing in on Doherty. Didn't give him a clean passing lane.
Middle of the park, it's Valencia. Cuts down to his left foot. Into the second level.
Weaving through everybody.
Fancy move by Valencia to the end line. Looking to center here. Gets past one. Fallberg, and he scores! Linus Fallberg makes it 3. And it's all New Hampshire here in the first half.
Well, Fallberg's going to get the goal on this one, but what a move, what a set of moves by Valencia. He, like I just said, was weaving through so many black jerseys. Held on to the ball, centers it. Just a thing of beauty. Take another look. Set up by Valencia. Basically breaks the ankles of each defender. And whether that pass was intended for Fallberg or not, it doesn't matter. He finds it on his foot, punches it in.
And it's the sophomore from Sweden. Good composure in the box there. One touch allows the defender to go past him. And all 3 goals have come into that right side of the net.
Yep.
3-0. And UMBC right now with their backs against the walls. A ton of time left, but UNH has come out guns a-blazing here in the first half.
Yeah, you can clearly see their strategy is to get to that far corner. And now I'm curious, it looks like we get our first substitution for UMBC. Just wondering how long till maybe a guy like Marconi gets a chance to get in this game. Try and spark the offense. Still looking for some of those switches.
Ben Dow will knock it wide, and here's Bell. Puts the ball into his left foot. Gets away from Wolf, and Wolf recovers.
Just a takeaway. Wolf is putting his name all over this one.
Now, you mentioned Marconi, a guy with 5 goals off the bench, talented underclassman from Italy, and haven't seen him yet, but I mean his team's down 3 now, so you wonder how that bench shuffling will be affected by the scoreline here for Pete Caringi.
I thought I saw some of the guys come off. I could be wrong, but that was his best opportunity they had so far. Look at this one. Little bit, some contact here at the end.
Yeah, Ben Dow gets a little talking to from the lead official. Dow's a junior from Frederick, Maryland, and a transfer out of James Madison. So UNH now will take its time playing with a commanding 3-0 lead. Just over 25 to go in the first half.
So Dow's the first guy off the bench into this game. UMBC uses a lot more of their roster as well than UNH does. Coach Hubbard sticks with basically the same, probably about 12 deep in front of Huxall. UMBC, they will put about 14, 15 guys in this game.
And Pete Caringi alluded to that during the week. It's a deep team, but they don't necessarily have the high-end talent they had in 2014. And it's knocked away from Fallberg by Harris, who's still limping a bit from that previous challenge. But again, there's not that, I mean, Marconi's got 5 goals for sure. He comes off the bench, but there really isn't that go-to guy. There isn't a Pete Caringi III out there for UMBC like they had 4 years ago. It's been a different guy every game to get him 1, but now they need 3.
Situation they have not been in either in quite some time, which that's another battle in itself. If you're in unfamiliar territory, being down this much, how do you find a way to respond?
Well, Mark Hubbard said it was a misnomer to call his team a defensive team, and maybe he's gone about trying to prove that today in the first half of this first half.
3 goals. It's an easy way to try and disprove it, but I'm still very impressed by their defense. Everything that the Retrievers have put in this end of the field has been contested. UNH is not making anything easy. Whereas at the other side, they're finding seams through the Retriever defense.
Yeah, the ref now having a chat with a UMBC sub. That is Marconi over there, so he's getting involved from the sideline. Give a little shove to Siggy Gearson. Sure, he's itching to get into the game.
Yeah, stretching out, getting loose.
So Jean Gilles will curl it in with the right foot. It's low, and it's knotted away by Fallberg.
Yeah, line drive right to Fallberg.
Jean Gilles is a very creative player. Will take a lot of those set pieces. There's Quantrell Jones, big commanding goalie at 6'3", 230. And he's been beaten 3 times. Again, hard to fault him. All 3 have been dynamic finishes into his left corner to the goalie's left.
Just great setups. And just a freshman out there, too, is Jones. He's a young player getting his first chance at a championship.
Made that switch midway through the season. Kieran O'Laughlin, the English goalie, was injured. Jones came in, played well, and the team rallied around him. He's been the starter ever since.
Yeah, it's tough to lose your job to an injury, but when you're getting the kind of results that you are, it's tough to not make that switch.
Ball comes down the sideline. Here's Jack Doherty. His ball driven in low. Saunderson is there, out into touch, and it'll be our first corner of the day for UNH. Doherty getting involved that time on the right wing, New Hampshire native.
They'll get the corner kick here, but I think UMBC will be okay with that. I mean, obviously we'll see what happens with it, but the way that they've moved, it's the first time we've kind of seen them attack from the near side of the field here. Saunderson with the aggressive header to knock that one out.
It'll be Valencia and Kalachi there to take it. One lefty, one righty. Valencia with the left, driven in high to the back posts. A couple of touches for the Wildcats. And it'll come wide for Bauer, who can't keep it in.
Yeah, good effort by Bauer. Sliding to try and keep that in the attacking zone. Just a little bit too far. And like I said, UMBC, they would take that corner kick there and not allow the Wildcats to try and set up another great assist. Would have been the opposite side look for Jones, but this time it works out for them.
Again, for UNH, to recap the scoring in the 5th minute, Bauer from Wolf. In the 6th minute, Valencia from Fallberg. And in the 18th minute, Fallberg from Valencia. So we already get 2 players with 3-point games for New Hampshire, holding a commanding advantage, and really not a whole lot at the other end for Lars Huxall, the America East goalkeeper of the year, to do. He's had a pretty routine opening 24 minutes or so.
He hasn't had to make a save yet. Their closest chance they got went over the crossbar. Everything else, that front line, or back line, I guess I should say, in front of him, has just kept everything away.
And he only had to make 1 save Wednesday against UMass Lowell.
Came late as well.
Helps to put up good numbers when you don't have to make saves.
You just stand back there and watch the game.
Just a routine start for the big German in net.
More physical play.
And he picked a good time to come to UNH, crossing overseas to come play his 1 season at UNH and has a chance to win a championship, go to the NCAA tournament. He had only been to the States 1 previous time before coming over to New Hampshire. Got a call from their associate head coach, Rich Weinrebe, and has been their starter. A lot of accolades this season, and got a nice set of defenders in front of you as well. It's always nice to have, and he's certainly appreciative. Heard some of his comments after the semifinal with him. He basically admitted it. I didn't have to do that much. I got great defenders in front of me. You know, when I have to, I step up. But aside from that, I'm keeping guys organized and just playing my role. And there he is, the 6th Wildcat to earn that league-wide honor.
First team all-conference goalkeeper. League leading the 7 shutouts, looking for number 8. That would be the most important one to him. Yeah, it's been impressive. Nice run from him. And if this is, 1 year, UNH will be happy with that 1 year if this works out.
And he speaks better English than my German, for sure. He's getting his MBA in business. Is Huxall, who might be put to work here. Ben Dow, cross field, first time ball in. Open is Bailey, and a saving play made. Well, UNH gets Siggy Gearson in the right spot at the right time because Bailey had a glimmer of an opportunity there.
It's another good look from UMBC. They've had a couple of them. We were just talking about Huxall not having to do much. He nearly got tested for his first time there, but more help. Again, take another look.
That Bailey looked like he maybe just delayed a slight second too long here to get the shot off.
Yeah, it was kind of taking a bounce on him on that centering pass, so he had to let it come back down. Wasn't in the greatest position in the angle, and then that allowed Gearson to catch up and just get in front of him.
That first touch just kind of failed Bailey, who's also scored 5 times this year, including 3 game winners.
Donette Saki in the game now for the Wildcats.
And he's a guy that can inject some offense into the Wildcat attack. Not like they need it at this point, but a guy originally from Liberia, 6'3", big body, 2 goals and an assist this year.
Yep, 32 shots, so definitely involved offensively. But you're right. Normally you'd think, let's get him in, maybe put some hurt into the offense, but they've done just fine.
Zaki played locally for the Seacoast United Phantoms. He'll play up top along with Conrad Chang, who's into the game. Couple of new strikers from our Hubbard squad. Chang is originally from Norway, electric 1v1 player. Wildcats earn a free kick to be taken by a couple of the backline guys here, Wolf and Gearson, who made that last defensive play. 6'2" from the capital city of Iceland, Reykjavik.
Wolf was a little slow to, now he's kind of hanging back right now. He's come up hurting a little bit. That last play. Danger spot.
Yeah, they find the flank again, does UNH. They've made a killing on both flanks so far this game, especially the left. And now it's Velasquez. He'll switch the point of attack to Wolf, who looks back to full strength. Valencia checking to the sideline. Able to keep it in. And this will point UMBC's way. And we'll get another new retriever into the game. This will be on defense as Harris will take a breather. And we finally get to see Cesare Marconi, the young Italian.
Good job by Ben Dow again against Valencia. Valencia's got that fancy footwork, but Ben Dow just kind of waited him out, held his ground. UMBC takes it away here.
John Gilles goes diagonal. There's Huxall out to head it away, had to leave his goal mouth. Racing back in, and a great defensive play by Velasquez.
It's another example of the team in front of him. He comes out to challenge. They back up. Velasquez is there to clean it up.
Juan Velasquez, that left back out of San Francisco. So Marconi now into the game. UMBC plays a 4-3-3. Already a pretty attacking style of soccer and an aggressive mindset from Pete Caringi. You wonder if now that becomes maybe a 3-4-3 or even pushing further guys forward down by 3. Ball lofted into the 18. Losing his footing was Saunderson. Unfortunate.
Room to work here now for Wolf.
He's got Cheng to his right with a lot of space.
It's 4-on-3. UMBC trying to get back.
Cheng to the back post, had a couple of guys there, and it's knocked out into touch by UMBC. America East urges you to spread respect by ensuring equality and safety for all coaches, student athletes, and fans without regard to race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or gender identity. America East Spread Respect, a great initiative by the conference, as UNH will get its second corner from this near side again. Kalachi and Valencia both there. It'll be the in-swinger from the Californian. Dangerous spot, back post, and nearly 4-0. UNH can't believe it.
Yeah, just missed there.
Looked like Bauer.
I believe so. You can take another look. Was Bauer.
Yeah,
Jones got a piece.
The marking leaving something to be desired for UMBC is Bauer, the defender of the year, a guy who's already scored today, being left wide open by Jean Gilles. And UMBC may be fortunate to not be trailing by 4 as Cheng goes to work. And UNH looking for more, not content with that 3-0 lead.
I mean, nor should they be. Best teams, they keep their foot on the gas. There's one thing, to show respect to the opponent during maybe a regular season game, but this is a championship. You don't take anything for granted.
There's still a lot of time left, too. It's
Yep.
not like there's 14 minutes left in the game. We get 14 in the first half. UNH leading by 3, less than 18 minutes into this one.
Contesting everything over there on the far side. Not easy for Nick Gums.
Jean Gilles will cut out the centering pass for UMBC, a team that's won 4 titles in the last decade. Looking for their 5th today, but it's UNH, the higher seed, the favorite, trying to win it for the very first time. Little nutmeg move in the far side. Good feed to the interior. James Geelan goes wide for Bell, his first time touch. Into the box, and it's Dow's pass that's broken up. Kalachi in the way. Knocked out by Chris Pinkham.
Now Dow was trying to bring it back out and set something up. That allowed UNH, though, to get over, contest. Retriever still possessing the ball here, but to reset now.
Into the feet of Dow, tries to one-touch it back to Marconi, but it's broken up. Now UNH looks for transition. Antonio Kalachi had the game winner on Wednesday against UMass Lowell, another shutout for New Hampshire. They can keep a clean sheet today, it'd be 4 straight and 10 on the season. Conrad Cheng knocks it back. A lot of space now for Kyle Brewster from New Hampton, New Hampshire. Wolf at his natural spot. Gets a step against Dow. Right foot delivery, blocked out, and UNH another corner.
Already their 3rd one here in the first half. And a lot of it has been generated from Wolf. He's done a nice job on this near side of the field.
Velasquez will get a breather for New Hampshire, well-deserved. Rest on the bench as Kalachi will come over to take this corner kick. The new Wildcat in the game is Alan Kehoe, a junior out of Dublin, Ireland, who's played some more minutes of late. Kalachi an outswinger, dangerous spot for it. And it'll bound out of bounds away from Cheng.
Right in the thick of it. You mentioned Kehoe, though, coming in. This is only his 3rd game. Just picking up some playing time recently. Played in the semifinals against UMass Lowell.
And Mark Hubbard now with the luxury of being able to maybe not rest your guys, but give them some extra rest at least before halftime. There's no reason right now, the 3-goal lead, to run those big guns in. Velasquez has had a big impact on the game so far, so he gets a breather.
Yeah, we'll probably see a couple more guys come in and out. But like we said, Hubbard doesn't have, he keeps a tight lineup, keeps a tight roster. At least he has in the latter part of this season. Maybe some of the guys who have not played as much as of late get some minutes here before the half.
UNH possession with the 3-goal lead. Under 11 to go in the first half here in the America East Championship game. Wildcats trying to go back to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year, but again, have never done it with the automatic bid. Last year, the at-large bid for UNH. There'll be a new champion in the conference this year, no matter what. Albany, the 2-time champs, fell in the quarters to UMass Lowell this year. Again, the regular season really came down to the wire. We had 4 teams battling for that 1 seed, any number of them. Stony Brook, New Hampshire, Lowell, Vermont all had an outside chance at that 1 seed going into the first round bye. New Hampshire won its final 2 games to get the bye, and it's certainly paid off. Long range effort, whip toward goal, and that's off the upright of the football goal. right behind net. And it was Chris Pinkham looking for his second of the year. Redshirt rookie out of Concord, New Hampshire.
Again, set it up by Wolf. He has played very well so far in this first half. Stuff that doesn't necessarily show up in the box scores, but creating opportunities, which is a lot of what this is just all about.
Bell sprinted down the sideline. Leaning in was Kehoe. No whistle. And Gearson, the Icelandic back, will block it out for UMBC's first corner. Well, 3 quick ones for New Hampshire in this contest. Again, the long throw, knotted in by Bauer. All 3 goals scored in a matter of 20 minutes in the first half. The first time finish from Valencia. And then it was Fallberg taking his time to tuck one home.
Yeah, and the one common theme there, everything left to right.
And this will be a routine for the German grad student Lars Huxall, making his 16th start of the season today, gunning for his 9th shutout. We mentioned the home field. It was big for New Hampshire, and not just to play well during the regular season, but to play well to close it. A couple of wins in a row to finish, to earn that 2 seed, get home field, and then obviously, as is the case in many title seasons, a little bit of luck as you got Stony Brook falling at home, and that allows UNH, one of the best home field advantages right now in all of college soccer, to host the title game for the first time.
Yeah, it wasn't to discredit UMBC or anything like that, but everybody, I think at UNH was pretty surprised that they were going to get a chance to host this game. Stony Brook, the season that they had, #1 seed, and UMBC, the road warriors. It just kept going for them, and they go down to Long Island, or up, I guess, for them, coming from Baltimore.
Again, just the amount of travel distance and travel time that UMBC has had to expend throughout this run. Again, they've got to just be exhausted. And we talked to Pete Caringi during the week. I mean, these guys have got to get rest. They've got to go to class. They've got to eat. They've got to do all the normal things that college kids do. And meanwhile, they're traveling halfway down the East Coast and opening down low. And Jones got a piece, and it's saved on the goal line.
Wow.
The flag stayed down, and it was Donat Saki who almost made it for the post. Comes to UMBC's rescue.
I mean, Saki lunged out to just even get a piece of that, and Jones comes out to challenge. Take another look, you can see up top. Jones comes out to challenge. It still sneaks by him, but just didn't have enough mustard on that one to get past the goal line.
Fabulous look from Netcam. Jones getting just enough of a piece of that. Saki gunning for his 3rd goal of the season. Did a great job there to stay onside. Here is Antonio Calachi. Tries to slide one through. That's going to be cut out by Cal Saunderson.
Individual effort right there. Kehoe in the middle of things.
Cesare Marconi going wide. You'd have to think that if UMBC has any chance of coming back, Marconi's going to have to have a whale of an afternoon off the bench and make something happen, as he has many times this season. Patrick Jean-Gilles in a wave of white. Slides one through for Dow. He's onside. Shot was deflected. Rebound, and a second save made. Boy, it's been a quiet first half for Huxall, but the German comes up huge.
Back-to-back saves. I mean, he's sliding down to his left. Didn't have time to get up. The ball bounces right back. Take another look. Beautiful setup by the Retrievers. Moves down to his left. Tries to stand up quickly. He's got to go back to his right. And nothing on the board for the Retrievers at the end of the day.
Oh, Dow got more mustard on the second chance, but Huxall equal to both challenges. Another corner now for UMBC. Marconi curls it in. Over the head of Bell, and it comes out for Calachi. Easily UMBC's best couple of chances of the match.
They've had a couple of good looks, and really, like you said, that's the first time that Huxall's been challenged and had to really go to work, but you could see why he was the goalkeeper of the year right there. Just tremendous effort.
It's not always easy. You see it in many sports, including hockey, field hockey. When you have a quiet afternoon, you got to try not to fall asleep. You've got to be ready for a couple of chances like that to come your way.
Always got to be on your toes.
Another long throw for UNH. It'll be Johnny Wolf over to take it. And that's exactly how UNH created their first goal, 4.5 minutes in.
This has been the sweet spot for him.
Wolf logs a lot of miles down the right flank, jogging over to the left sideline to take the throws. Got to be in shape if you're Johnny Wolf. Another dangerous ball in, and that's off the side netting, it looked like, and actually in the back of the net, but no one touched it.
Yeah.
It's no goal, no touch, and that might be the reason why Quantrell Jones let it run.
Yeah,
thought initially it was off the side netting, but
they started to kind of celebrate, and then everybody realized what was going on. Here's the other look from Wolf.
And basically it takes the same effect as an indirect free kick. It can't go directly in, and there you see no contact. Impressive from Wolf, nonetheless, to throw it in.
Just thinking that.
It doesn't count. There's one guy you'd peg to score from a throw, it'd probably be him. So the lead stays at 3 for New Hampshire, in full command after that big save, those 2 big saves from Huxall, with under 4 to go in this first half.
Still, that continues. You see that left flank still being a danger spot for the Retrievers defense. If a UNH player is a half foot closer to that ball, that might be a 4-0 game right now.
Fancy move by Kalachi.
Yeah.
That brings a rise out of the Wildcat Stadium crowd. And now it's Kehoe, the Irish international. On his left, chipping one back post. It took a deflection.
Deflected right back to UNH.
And now Pinkham drops it. On to Velasquez, who's back into the game. And UNH gets to that end line. And another long throw opportunity for Wolf as we tick under 3 minutes to go in half one. Fabulous individual move there by Kalachi. As you see Chris Pinkham, one of those numerous New Hampshire natives. Fancy footwork.
Whoop! Right there. Keep away.
Kalachi in all-conference first team selection, 1 of 3 for the Wildcats as Wolf's throw that time.
Right to Jones. Read that like a wide receiver.
When you have a guy like Wolf to utilize that throw, it's almost like an additional corner kick, almost better than a corner, because you can be way more precise with your throw than your kick.
Yep.
And we've seen that long throw be very dangerous on numerous occasions.
Remember, he's just a freshman out there, so he could be making those throws for quite some time here in Durham, New Hampshire.
A lot to like for the Wildcat faithful today. A big crowd on hand at Wildcat Stadium.
He said they could have been late arriving. Hopefully they didn't miss some of those early goals.
If you came in the 7th minute, you missed 2 of the 3. There's Sackey at midfield and the top of that Wildcat logo.
Just put it out to space.
And acres of space for Wolf. Right-footed ball in, that's knocked away. Cleared by Dow. Marconi holds it up, and here's Jean Gilles. Wildcats have good numbers back, 5 behind the ball, as they usually do. Lofted toward the corner, chasing is Matt Bailey. But it's Bauer, the defender of the year, in good position.
Yeah, just boxed out his opponent. No chance, as everything has been pretty much to our right so far.
And you wonder if those 2 chances from Dow, again, you don't get many grade A's against UNH.
Yep.
You've got to, Pete Caringi said at pregame, you've got to take your chances on the road in a title game, and they had 2 grade A's that were denied by Huxall. And especially down 3, can't afford to miss on those prime chances. Kalachi stepping up, Sackey to the inside. Right foot high ball into the back posts. Kehoe nods it back to a dangerous area, but it's Dow to knock it out of bounds, and Wolf will come over to a familiar spot on the opposite sideline.
You're right. He gets his workout in every game.
Sized up by Jones, leaps over Bell's head to grab it, and that will do it for the first half. And what a dominant first half it was for the host. New Hampshire hosting the title game for the first time, and They lead 3-0, 45 minutes away from that first ever conference championship.
Dominant, I think, is the understatement.
Goals from three different guys. Bauer, along with his teammates Valencia and Fallberg, and it's a 3-0 lead.
That experience in Charlotte was amazing. It really was beyond the expectations of the world. It was dazzling. So much so that we all said the next morning, did that really happen? So it was a fun experience, great pride for our students, combination of academics and athletics. And quite frankly, I think the best of the American East, the whole brand is about the combination of athletics and academics.
You don't have to visit the University of New Hampshire to see what we do. You can see it in our state's coastline, in our farms and forests, and our towns and cities. This is where you'll see the things we do that touch the lives of people throughout the state. For 150 years, UNH has been proudly protecting our resources and powering the state's economy. We're more than a campus. We are the University of New Hampshire, the state's flagship research university.
There's something happening. It's purposeful. It's inspiring. It's the simple idea that good is more than something you are. It's something you do. Eastern Bank is here, giving 10% of our net income to local charities. Here to do good, to do right, to do more, to help all of us do better. So join us for good.
The America East Championship game here in 2018 is at the half. New Hampshire, the 2 seed, hosting the title game for the first time, and that dominant home field advantage continues. For the Wildcats, it's 3-0 after 45 minutes of play on this windy Sunday. Along with Jeff Poster, Alistair Ingram here with you at Wildcat Stadium. And first half dominance, Jeff, for New Hampshire. Not going to be totally reflected in the overall stats, but again, from start to finish, really from the start, this New Hampshire team was ready to go. They scored twice in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just opportunities. I mean, you can see the corner kicks, obviously 5-2, but just shots 7-3, and 2 of them came very late for UMBC. We mentioned them right before the half. Ben Dow had 2 big opportunities and just better defensive play from Lars Huxall. But yeah, UNH dominant, like I said, that's a little bit of an understatement. Most of the game was to our right. They just had no problem creating offense right from the get-go. He said if you got here within the 7th minute, you already missed 2 goals.
And
just
as we
impressive.
talked about, all 3 goals from very similar locations,
yeah,
and 2 very similar locations, right in the center of the box to the right corner of the net.
Yeah, from that far side of the field, the throw-in was the first one, but everything generated left to right, and they just kind of fooled Jones. Not that he had a ton that he could have done on some of those, but a little bit of a spin maybe on it on the ball, and it just gets past him. But yeah, everything left to right, the Wildcats really favoring that spot. Maybe it's because it's right in front of their own bench. I don't know, but it seems to be working out for them.
Everything working for the Wildcats right now. 3 goals from 3 different scores. We'll take a look at those tallies with the highlights when we come back. The America East Championship game on ESPN from Wildcat Stadium in Durham. All Wildcats after 45 minutes. The America East Championship game on ESPN here from Durham. The Wildcats scoring 3 times in the opening 20 minutes of play. And let's take a look at some of those tallies from the first half, as New Hampshire did it in a number of ways. 3 different scorers, but again, very similar location. They got to the middle of that defense and finished inside the right post.
Yeah, you see the first one, Johnny Wolf. We've mentioned his name a bunch today. The throw-in, Josh Bauer with that first goal. And then it's the Alex Valencia, Linus Felberg show between the two of them, a goal and assist each. And then just some more great defensive play, an opportunity. The defense in front of Huxall. This is when he comes out and puts his own header into the thick of things. Then he gets helped out again. Defense backpedals while he's trying to get reset. Impressive as this one off the post, Jones came and had to sprint back to it, as he's picked up his games too.
And these were big too at the end of the half.
Huge.
If UMBC gets that one, a couple of big saves, they get some confidence, and UNH celebrating with some razzle-dazzle, a 3-0 lead, and why not when you're up 3 and hosting the title game for the first time. The Wildcats are 45 minutes away from their first ever America East Championship. We'll continue and take a check of some conference accolades for the Wildcats and Retrievers when we return. It's the America East title game on ESPN. Halftime of the America East Championship game, New Hampshire 3 goals in the first half. Working on shutout number 10 of the season in their first America East Championship. It's been a big year for UNH already, another 10-win season and multiple conference honors coming their way this season. We start, Jeff, with the conference's Defender of the Year, Josh Bauer, who scored our first goal today.
Yeah, he's got a goal. It is this one, the championship, so he's showing his offense too. But yeah, you've seen it in this game even itself. The America East Defender of the Year. Defense, 9th in the nation. I mean, he and Huxall, who we're going to talk about in a second, really the big reasons for it. 16 games, 16 starts. He's been there every minute of the season. First time ever, too, for a Wildcat to win this honor. So it's an impressive as this continuous year has just been huge.
And then you've got the guy behind him in Lars Huxall, the big German, in his first season, a grad student at New Hampshire, made a pretty good decision coming here to play with the Wildcats. Again, there's a great defensive unit in front of him, but when called on, as we saw late in the half, he's made those big saves.
Yeah, those were huge saves in this game alone. He's been doing it all season. The 7 shutouts, like I said earlier, he's looking for his 8th. At the moment, he's got it, but he's been huge, literally and just physically too. Came here to go to business school. They got a great school here, and he's getting it done on the soccer pitch too.
A calming influence for this New Hampshire team all year long. For UMBC, no major awards this year, but a very gritty effort to get to this point. You saw what they did, getting past Vermont in PKs and then upsetting the number 1 seed Stony Brook on the road, the regular season champs, to get here. But their luck potentially running out today in Durham.
Yeah, they've had a good run here. Basically starting at the beginning of October, they've gone on such a good run, and it carried over into this tournament. Still an entire second half, but they have a lot of work to do to get back in this one.
They will need 45 minutes of pure magic
Yeah.
to try and turn the tide in this one. New Hampshire, again, 45 minutes away from its first America East Championship and trying to do so in front of the home fans. The teams will switch sides, the wind will shift, and UNH up 3 in the title match in Durham. Welcome back to the America East title game, getting ready for the second half. Alistair Ingram, Jeff Poster with you. 3 quick goals, Jeff, for UNH, 2 of which came in the opening 6 minutes of this match, and it was all Wildcats right from the get-go.
You take one more look at those 3. I mean, if you're a Wildcat fan, you can't get enough of the way that they happen. You see from Bauer, then Fallberg sets up Valencia, and then on the other side, he returns the favor. Valencia sets up Fallberg here. Just impressive work from the UNH offense.
There's your first half numbers again, all favoring UNH. Had a couple other chances to make it 4, even 5. Lars Huxall making a couple of key saves at the end of the half for UNH to keep the clean sheet for now. And a lot of work for UMBC here in the second half if they're to continue this magical run as the 5 seed heading into the second half. Again, a 4-time America East champion in the last decade they want their 5th, they're going to have to do some major work and early here in the second half.
Yeah,
There's Pete Caringi, and you got to wonder, what else is left in his bag of tricks this season.
I mean, I'm sure he's still got something in there. I mean, he hasn't been a coach here in his 28th season for no reason. And he seems pretty relaxed no matter what. Ready to go for the second half.
Well, he said that he's had a lot of fun coaching this team, and he'll try to watch them do what they can to come back on Mark Hubbard's Wildcats. Again, he came here 4 years ago as the head coach after winning a Division II national championship at Southern New Hampshire, and now trying to do something that no New Hampshire coach has ever done with the Wildcats, and that's win a conference championship. And it will be his 47th win in just 4 years at the helm of this program, and really putting them on the map here on the East Coast.
Nearly a bad turnover to start this second half for UMBC. Jones had to come out a step or two and take it away.
UNH getting the all-important first goal early in this one. The offside flag is up on UMBC. It gets called on Ben Dow, who's had their 2 best chances today. Dow had those back-to-back looks against Huxall late in the first half. For UMBC, talking to Pete Caringi, he said this team is like no other he's ever coached because, again, they don't, and he admitted this, they don't have the same talent that they had back in 2014. They don't have the All-Americans and the Conference Striker of the Year, but they found ways to win. They're fun to watch because they find ways to win games, and it's a different guy every match, and obviously it's going to take a monumental comeback to accomplish that again. But we saw it there. He's smiling. He loves coaching this team, and I think that's why he's still so upbeat. Yeah,
I mean, and they're a pretty veteran team. Most of the starters out there, juniors and seniors, so maybe they don't have the star power, but they definitely have the intelligence, and a lot of times that can make a huge difference, just your IQ level of this game and how to get something done. Maybe you got to be a little more crafty about it. You're not going to beat somebody, 1 versus 3 going the opposite way. I am curious to see as how long into this second half. You notice that Dow is out there starting this second half, but will we see Marconi come out maybe a little bit earlier?
Yeah, Marconi coming off the bench of late. Saw him come off the bench in the first half. This UMBC team playing with house money really since the start of the playoffs.
Contact there. Saw the foul numbers. Actually, that was the one thing that favored the Retrievers. Only the 3 to UNH's 6. Going over the stats before the start of the second half.
Central pass is nodded away by Dylan Potzel, who was called for that previous foul.
A little bit of discussion here with some of the referees.
Johnny Wolf getting a little testy, and his teammates coming to push him away. And now a chat with the lead official from James Geelan. A little bit of a hard challenge there. Both number 22s clashing. Geelan from Edgewater, Maryland, and Wolf taking exception.
He saw that. His teammates were not too happy. They were looking for the whistle.
Well, obviously some frustration on the UMBC side right now, given the way the first half went. 2 goals in the first 6 minutes for UNH as they tip one in, and it's 4. And it's Kyle Brewster, the second goal by a defender today. Wildcats 4, Retrievers 0.
Well, I guess that just needs credence to a defensive team. It's the defenders putting the tallies up on the scoreboard today. So they take advantage of the UMBC foul. Johnny Wolf got his 2 cents in on that one. Then they just an opportunity to find Brewster, kind of right place, right time. There was a header attempt. I didn't see who it was by, but they had just missed, and Brewster was there to kind of clean it up.
Yeah, it looked like there was an initial UNH touch there that got it through to Brewster, and he did the rest, redirecting it. And Quantrell Jones got a piece of it, but not enough. As again, Wolf getting a little testy as he's got to be ripped away. He's got to keep his composure here with his team up 4 now. Last thing you need is a card.
Yep.
To put yourself on the brink of being sent off. UNH basically now has just got to play their game, possess the ball, and a 4-0 lead with 40 minutes to go. A lot of time, but It'll take a lot now for them to lose out in this first championship. They had 4 different goal scorers today, and now 2 from defenders. Brewster, a 6'3" junior from New Hampshire, his second of the season. And it was Siggy Gearson, I believe, that got that initial touch off the free kick to pick up the assist.
But the free kick setting everything up, trying to take advantage of the other team's mistakes, and that's exactly what happened. Jones has struggled today. Some of them not entirely his fault, but it's the big stage, maybe getting to the freshman a little bit.
Here's Dow turning back to his left, lost his footing, no whistle.
Rolling over on the ball.
Hey, Gearson wanted a foul. And we get a card coming here. That's going to go against Trey Pulliam, I believe. Haven't heard a ton from him today, junior from Baltimore. Neither have we heard much from Jordan Dove, who had the game winner in the semis against Stony Brook. Have not called his name too much.
A couple of their leaders on offense as well. And it's been a quiet day offensively for UMBC. Obviously, they don't have a goal yet, but they just haven't even had a lot of opportunities. Dow's been the guy. He had those 2 good looks, and obviously, you know, the first one didn't go, bounce right back to him, and it's tough for, it's easy for us to say, you know, he maybe rushed that second shot, but just a reactionary moment, get it right back. Maybe you catch Huxall or any keeper off guard and still couldn't punch it in.
There's Bauer, the America East Defender of the Year. He scored the first goal.
Somehow got that through. Look at the absolute speed there from UNH.
That's Jack Doherty as he cuts back on Bell. A few players in support, including Brewster.
Doherty,
6'3" defender.
had the goal in the regular season matchup between these two. Only needed 1 that day.
Brewster again. We're in the short sleeves today. And this chilly Sunday, Velasquez to the byline. Got a step and earns a throw. Impressive day so far from Velasquez. It's almost the entire field now covered in shadows on this Sunday. Lights on at Wildcat Stadium.
That's the sad part about the fall. Just gets darker and darker and earlier and earlier.
Gonna say, if we had, you know, potential for overtime today,
yeah,
we might be seeing the sunset, but it looks like a regulation game today. Jones comes out to challenge. Brewster got a touch. Kalachi to the back post, and it skies over. It was deflected, though, and it'll be a corner kick for New Hampshire.
Just a little high. See from net cam here, the throw-in, if it gets over everybody, he might have thrown that right into the net again anyway. We wouldn't be talking about the rest of it, but another chance, another opportunity created for the Wildcats. They've taken advantage of every one of them and every one of UMBC's mistakes.
Another well-directed ball in from Valencia that time. Looking to pick out Bauer.
Nice challenge.
And here is Bauer, one of the captains for UNH. Gets past the defender Polzel, and it's cut out to Gearson. Icelandic back, goes down with some contacts. Valencia with the left foot, curls it to the back post, and didn't miss by much. UNH gunning for a 5th.
Just a little wide. Been impressed by UNH's passing on that sequence, though, in the offensive end. They're finding lanes. Take a look at this shot. Just about a foot too wide to the left.
Great angle there from Valencia, the lefty. Goal and an assist today. Linus Fahlberg, a goal and an assist. They set each other up for the second and third goals. Cal Brewster and Josh Bauer, each with a goal as well for UNH. Only 2 saves made by Lars Huxall today. They were both in quick succession against Ben Dow late in the first half. And it is all New Hampshire trying to beat UMBC for the first time ever in the America East tournament. In the last 2 title games they played, 2010, 2012, were scoreless ties that UMBC won in penalty kicks down in Baltimore. You really hate to see title games decided by PKs, and really at any level. And so UNH didn't want to see that happen again. They didn't want to see a third title game go scoreless into PKs and have that history come up.
Yeah, they came out. We said it more than once today about how Mark Hubbard doesn't want you to downplay his offense at all. Is another look at another near miss for the Wildcats, and they came out offensive-minded and struck early and often.
And UNH not sitting back. They are still looking to attack this UMBC team. And it's a title game. You never know what can happen. Crazy things happen in sports. If you can score more, you might as well score more.
Yeah.
And also, their RPI looking forward. If they do indeed clinch this game, looking at strength of schedule and eventually their seeding for the NCAA tournament, as they'll learn their destination at the selection show if they do indeed hang on. Right now, UNH 25th in the 26th, I should say, in the RPI rankings. They had the most votes out of anyone just outside the top 25. Last year ranked as high as 12th nationally was this New Hampshire program, winning 2 rounds in the NCAA tournament. And they closed the year at 14 after taking Indiana to the brink. And the Hoosiers, almost impossible to score against last year, but New Hampshire did it. They were ranked 2nd at the time. And this year, UNH has become a similarly dominant defensive squad, working on their 4th consecutive shutout.
First couple of NCAA wins ever last year, and this year, if they can get this conference championship under their belt, they should probably feel even better going into the tournament.
And it's a great statement to make as well, not just about UNH, but this conference. The last couple of years, you've seen UMass Lowell, even before they were postseason eligible, making an impact on a regional, even national level with big-time wins, national rankings. Vermont, a couple of years ago, doing some damage, and this conference has really put forth some significant teams into the tournament. They're not just there to enjoy the experience; they're there to win.
And a lot of homegrown kids for each of these schools in America East. You've seen both these rosters today. Obviously, there's a lot of international players coming in as well, but I'd say the majority of both these rosters are locally from New Hampshire and from Maryland. And when we talked to Mark Hubbard midweek, that was one of the statements that he made, how it's been nice kind of seeing the growth of just even at the youth level soccer in New Hampshire, because his team is performing. This is the highest level in the state. And they're trying to create some more homegrown future talent.
Yeah, a lot of New Hampshire kids that are playing, I'm sure, in front of a lot of friends and family today at Wildcat Stadium. As you said, a lot of Maryland kids on that UMBC side. Here's Kalachi, who came up from Florida to play here at UNH. And now Fallberg all the way from Sweden. Looking to the back posts. Has a teammate. Wolf will nod it inside to Doherty, who's wide open, and it's 5. The rout continues at Wildcat Stadium. It's Doherty's first of the day, 3rd of the season, and it goes from bad to worse for UMBC.
I hate to say it, but it looked like the Retrievers almost gave up on that one. As you take another look,
He almost walked it into the net.
Yeah, I mean, Fallberg's got it here, the nice header, and Doherty's there, and Jones came out to challenge, but you see a couple of the Retrievers back there. David Harris was the closest one to it. They kind of just let those passes happen, and by the time Jones made his move, it was way too late. It's an easy goal for Doherty.
Another New Hampshire kid, played at KUA.
Yeah. Meriden, New Hampshire, 5'9" junior.
His 3rd of the season, up to 10 points. So 5-0 game, New Hampshire. Who would have envisioned this? I mean, New Hampshire came in as the favorite, but they've been involved in a lot of tight, low-scoring games throughout the season, known for their defense, but putting up a 5 spot in the most important match, certainly of their season, arguably of their entire program history.
I mean, we could have mentioned it at the 4th goal, but this is the highest scoring output they've had all year. They had a 3-2 win over LIU Brooklyn way at the beginning of the season, and a 3-1 over Iona, but that had been it. A couple of 2-goal games, including the previous round against UMass Lowell. So What a time to pick your highest scoring output.
Well, anyone who now says that UNH soccer is a defensive team had better hold their tongue.
Yeah, right.
I think we actually might want to share some of the blame for that. In a sense, maybe we contributed to today's offensive outburst by contending to Mark Hubbard that his team was defensive-oriented.
I don't think they can hear us up here, but I mean, you never know.
He said, you know what, we're going to score 5 today.
Let's just put up
maybe
5.
even 6.
We'll see. They got plenty of time for it.
And we haven't seen them sit back. I mean, 3-0 at the half. You could easily see a team sort of pack the bus, pack it in, possess, but they're looking for more, and
just play keep away.
They want to be as dominant as possible. One of the most lopsided Americas finals we've seen in a long time.
Probably one of the most lopsided finals anywhere. Have to, do the research on that, but this has been impressive. And it's hard for UMBC. Like I said, I don't know if they seem to be a little bit maybe of a give up on that last one. Not to take anything away from Doherty and the UNH offense. You still got to put it in. But is UMBC at this point kind of disheartened and just riding out the clock? You'd hate to see that, but it happens.
And you look at all that UNH has accomplished, during Mark Hubbard's tenure here, winning 2 games in the tournament last year, 4 consecutive seasons of 10-plus wins, but narrowly missing a regular season championship on their home field a few years ago, and again, never quite getting over the hump in conference play. And they finally now, we think it's academic at this point, finally getting that conference championship on the home field. That's been the one thing they've been after throughout these 4 highly successful seasons, and in front of the home fans, it looks like they're going to get it.
Yeah, it's been a gradual step-by-step process, and it's kind of fun to, when you're in school, you get that 4-year window generally. I mean, you occasionally get that 5th year for some people, but Hubbard now, this is his 4th year, so it's like he's moved right along with everybody else, and they're hoping he's here for much longer than that. It's just been an impressive run, and they made the right choice, UNH, in bringing back Mark Hubbard. He's previously an assistant here for a long time, and then got his first head coaching opportunity and elevated back up to the Division I level.
And he's really been able to turn Wildcat Stadium into a house of horrors for opposing teams.
Seriously.
The numbers are now astounding. They're going to be 20-0-3 in 23 games, outscoring opponents 44-8 in those games.
Teams do not want to come here.
Just a team with extreme confidence here in Durham.
Nice lead pass.
Saunderson there to knock it away from Velasquez. UNH playing its best game of the season at the most important time. As Fallberg knocks it back to Brewster. Both those guys have scored today, as has Bauer. This is a Wildcat team that will look to do some further damage as they did last year in the NCAA tournament. Fallberg on the switch with Doherty, who scored the most recent goal. Deflected pass in. Ball to the byline. Fallberg with the right, and that's blocked. And the retriever down in some pain.
Some of the best defense, though, from the retrievers today.
And that player still down to block the Fallberg effort.
It's Potzel.
Fallberg over to check if he's okay, the sophomore to Baltimore. 5 starts this year for Dylan Potzel in defense.
Hard kick ball by Brewster, or Fallberg rather. Just got him in the right spot.
That is a great little move to the end line by Jacob Goulds.
Not
Potzel
much
back
padding.
to his feet. And it's a cold day as well.
That does not help, the wind, and everything's a little more tender in the cold. Stay in the game, or is he? He's gonna come out, it looks like.
He'll be replaced by Trey Vinson, who's a junior back from Manassas, Virginia, as he gets his first appearance. 13th of the season for Vincent. Got just under a half hour to go here in half number 2. It's all Wildcats. It was 3-0 at the break. And 2 more goals so far from Brewster and Doherty in the second half. And New Hampshire under 30 minutes away from winning that first America-East championship. Fans, did you know America-East has some of the top teams in the nation in both men's and women's lacrosse? You can watch these sports plus baseball and softball games and other video content wherever and whenever you want. AmericaEast.tv delivers live streaming and on-demand content online, on your tablet, or on your phone, all for free. And it's all at AmericaEast.tv. You can also watch this entire game on replay. If you're a New Hampshire fan, you can relive all the glory, all 5 goals to this point. Watch ESPN.com.
It's a good one for New Hampshire fans. And so far, nothing official yet.
And again, such a huge stadium, it's hard to encapsulate how big the crowd is. Certainly a very strong crowd today. There's a lot of fans in front of us here on the press box side. Tough to fill this expansive stadium that was renovated. This press box and side of the field bleachers that we're sitting in, brand new.
Yeah, beautiful facility.
There's a sprawling save made by Huxall, only his second touch of the half. The best chance of the second half for UMBC on that header.
He went, I guess you could say full horizontal, but on his side and just batted it down with his big left mitt. Take a look at this. Not in my house.
No, Huxall wants that clean sheet. He's got 8 of them this season. Not about to give one up now. UNH as a team has 9 clean sheets. They're working on their 4th straight today. Haven't allowed a goal since October 20th. That was a 1-1 tie at Hartford. They've only allowed 4 first-half goals all season and just 5 in the second half. A couple of New Hampshire bodies come in. Those are the 2 strikers, Chang and Saki. Long throw for UMBC, Saunderson to take. And the header is won by Wolf. Johnny Wolf, who's had a fabulous day today. Now Saki with some space. He's 2-on-4 for the time being.
Saki had a nice first half, had a pretty good opportunity and good look on his shot. It was one of the better saves that Jones made today.
Brewster will knock it wide. Here is Velasquez, senior out of San Francisco. And now Gearson goes out to the right flank. Interior feed to Pinkham. Looking to play through for Cheng, the Norwegian. And that will be a goal kick for UMBC with 27 minutes or so on the Wildcat Stadium clock. Bundle up fans here in Durham starting to get ready for that championship celebration.
That'll warm them up.
And last year's title game went to double overtime in Lowell. Albany upsetting the Riverhawks. And this one really never in doubt from the opening couple of minutes of the game. UNH scored 4.5 minutes in, added a second goal about 90 seconds later.
But a minute and a half, almost on the dot.
And it was 3-0 by the 19-minute mark. And again, you have to wonder, I mean, obviously execution's part of it, but New Hampshire being able to be at home for a lengthy period of time, sleep in their own beds, rest. UMBC has been up and down the East Coast, left and right, flying, getting in at 3 in the morning, barely having time to go to class and sleep, let alone, play soccer and practice. They wanted to come in and win this game. They certainly didn't come here just to watch UNH score 5, but it's got to take its toll after a while.
Yeah, you'd think after some point it just, you're worn out. I mean, you go up to Vermont first, come back to Long Island, go to Stony Brook, come back to Durham. Then they got to go back after that, and that might be the worst ride of all of them. If this score holds up, which would be astronomical if UMBC was able to make a comeback.
They had to go on the road for their final 2 regular season games,
Yeah,
too.
that's
This
true.
is their 5th road game in a row. So logging a lot of miles are these retrievers. Again, Pete Caringi said it to us before the game. He's barely unpacked his suitcase the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
re-wearing shirts and pants, trying to find some clean socks. And his team today just running out of steam as the 5 seed. Would have been a magical run for their 5th title, but not to be for Karinji's Retrievers.
Yeah, and obviously still not to undersell their season as a whole, what a run they went on to even be at this point. I guess they can hope for the slim chance of an at-large bid, maybe based on their run. That would be tough, obviously. But I mean, you talked about the strength of this conference. It's growing, maybe starting to warrant the odds of 2 teams coming out of America East maybe in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, UNH did it last year.
Yep. UNH is the at-large, joining Albany. We've seen a few other teams are in at-large bids. Vermont a few years ago actually hosting a game, beating Rider 4-1, taking Virginia to double overtime. Again, these America East teams, battle-tested, good RPIs, and when they make that tournament, they are in position to win games and even host games while winning games. In the last 4 or 5 years, America East has become a premier East Coast conference in men's soccer. Here is Saki, 6'3" junior, originally from Liberia. UNH will just take its time. The Wildcats will celebrate, get warm, and then find out where they will head. Decent chance that they will be right back here at Wildcat Stadium for at least a round. Again, last year they were able to host 2 rounds, continue that unbeaten run. There'll be 23 consecutive unbeaten here at Wildcat Stadium after today.
What a run. What an impressive stat.
Good move down the far sideline by Gearson, the Icelandic back. UNH has got their backup keeper warming up. Tomu Pakovi, who's from Mallorca, Spain, as he will maybe get some action. That's actually Dylan Thompson, one of their 4 goalies from Concord, New Hampshire, trying to get the local guys some time perhaps. Yet to play the season. Long throw again from Wolf into the penalty spot. Comes out for a first-time drive that's wide from Valencia, gunning for his 2nd goal today.
Well, there's a couple of some seniors too on this team that don't play a lot. And don't know if we'll get to see them. This probably means more to them than maybe some of the younger guys too. Guys like Nick Miller, Chris Arling, Adam Norman. Like I said, I don't know if we'll see them, and they didn't play much this season, or if at all in some cases, but.
Alan Kehoe is back in, the junior from Ireland. It's always nice when you have the option to run some guys off the bench that never play. That's usually a good sign. It's either a really good sign or a really bad sign.
Bad sign. There's no middle ground there.
And today for UNH, a very good sign for Mark Hubbard and his staff. They can let their players enjoy this down the stretch. No nail-biting needed today for Wildcat Nation. Really no nail-biting the entire tournament for them in 2 games.
There's another opportunity.
They beat UMass Lowell 2-0 on Wednesday, but it probably felt like a 4-0 game, the way they dominated and limited chances. Pass comes over to Kehoe as he traps it down, the number 11. Over to Chris Pinkham. UNH will take its time. Velasquez playing that left flank. Onside is Pinkham. Tries to square it back, and it's first timed out to Brewster. Just 2 shots on goal today for UMBC, 7 for New Hampshire.
Yeah, you know, I was surprised when they had a bit of a 3-on-2 break there initially. UNH elected to go to the right side instead of the left, which seemed more open. Maybe we are starting to see the Wildcats pulling back a little bit, trying to ride out this final 20 and a half.
Total shots attempted today, 15-4, New Hampshire. Another stat, too, that sometimes goes unnoticed is every goal for New Hampshire has had an assist today.
Yeah. It's been great
At least
setups.
one assist.
Yeah. The one by Valencia is kind of the highlight for me, that 3rd goal. He was just tremendous individual effort to set up Fallberg. But you're right, everything was set up previously to the shot attempt.
And in soccer, sometimes it's a little more difficult to get an assist. It's not like hockey where if it hits your skate, you pick up an assist. In soccer, it's got to be a direct result of the play, and there can't be any sort of break in the action. So for all 5 goals to be assisted, very impressive for a New Hampshire team that, again, likes to attack, possess the ball, and clamp things down defensively. Nick Gums on the wide side right. First time ball in from Pulliam. Into the box toward Marconi, who's been shut down to this point. It'll be a UMBC corner kick, number 3 on the day for the Retrievers.
Yeah, for a guy who's second in the conference in just shots attempted, 63 coming into today in 19 games, and only 12 of those were starts. It's been a quiet afternoon. Cesare Marconi.
He had nearly 40 more shots than any other guy in his team coming in. So they really look to him to generate offense, and coming off the bench, he has not made that same impact. I mean, usually coming off the bench, he's either coming into a tie game or ideally his team leaving. I don't think he's ever been coming into a game down 3 this year at that early stage of the game.
I mean, he's still the type of guy that, you know, he's only a sophomore. Coming back, this is a type of guy you could see could end up being an offensive player of the year in this conference someday.
Terrific ball into Pinkham from Valencia.
A little bit ahead. Good catch up.
Again, the Wildcats slightly into the wind here in this second half. Conrad Chang goes down. The referee having none of it. That'll be a UMBC goal kick. Conrad Chang from Oslo, Norway. Good one-on-one player. Trying to draw the call there just outside the 18. But Carlos Fernandez putting the whistle away, as he well should at this point in the game. No reason to delay what seems like the inevitable at this point. Wildcats, if they do hang on, will move to 12-3-2 on the year. 1 win away from matching last year's 13-win total. And they'll improve to 10-0 here at Wildcat Stadium.
Nothing better than a perfect record at home. Fans appreciate that. Time they show up, they know they're going to see a win.
And if they do get a home game or 2 in the NCAA tournament, you'd hate to be the team that's got to come here and see that 20 wins, 3 ties, no losses record at a stadium. Especially one that seats as many as this. Again, the fans aren't too close to the field, but when you're able to host an NCAA tournament game and pack them in on a cold New England night, it certainly gives you the advantage, and UNH knows how to play here, supremely confident. Valencia's had a nice day. Goal and an assist. The lefty from Tracy, California, came to the San Jose Earthquakes Academy.
Right back to him.
Takes one touch, drives it in. Chang with the left and a save, Jones.
Knocked him down, but a nice save by Jones.
And Kehoe can't cut it back to the inside.
So I take back what I said earlier, that maybe UNH is starting to fall back a little bit. That was some good pressure. Obviously, the corner kick gives them the opportunity to do that. Gonna get another look at this chance.
Chang with his left foot drives it straight into Jones.
Knocked him down. That's a hard hit.
Chang with no goals this season as a sophomore, does have 2 assists. UNH trying to make it a touchdown today on the home of the Wildcat football program. Been a frustrating offensive year goal-wise for Chang. An electric talent. But it doesn't matter too much today. His teammates have picked him up. 5 goals from 5 different players, including 2 defenders.
Yeah, I think anyone who plays on this team, if they didn't score or have the numbers they were hoping for individually this season, they don't care as long as this team finishes the job today.
Unable to turn at midfield is Saki.
See right there, they're letting him play.
Yeah, Bailey goes down, play on. Outstanding passing down the far wing for the Wildcats. Here is Pinkham again, and he's finally canceled by Patrick John Geel.
Passing's been a strength for the Wildcats today as a whole. They've found some seams, especially on the 5 goals. It's all been about the passing leading up to it. I already mentioned that each goal has an assist, so that's the perfect way to exemplify that their passing has been so crisp.
And we talked about it before the game from Mark Hubbard, the fact that obviously they're very structured defensively. They have a great goalie, but utilizing their possession as a sort of a defensive weapon, keeping the ball away, first time ball. We don't have the possession numbers, but you've got to think that it's up 55-60% today for New Hampshire, and that makes your defense that much better.
It's a hard hit on the far side of the field.
That's on Marshall McCartney.
He's a little surprised. And looked like he just body checked him. Yeah, it's an easy call. Yeah, they're able to turn defense into offense. Sign of a good team.
There's some of those seniors you had mentioned before. Chance to get them in. Adam Norman, one of them, along with goalie Dylan Thompson. Thompson, a junior, but a local kid from nearby Concord. There he is, wearing number 30. And big round of applause for the big German, Lars Huxall.
Yeah, it's both an opportunity to get in some of the backups, but also for Huxall to get his due from the fans here. And that's well earned. Give him a little nice round of applause.
So Huxall now working on nearly 4 consecutive games of shutout soccer. Won't officially pick up the shutout today, not going the distance, but in all effect, his 9th shutout of the season. And Thompson will come in to try and finish the job and the clean sheet, which would be New Hampshire's 10th as a team. Thompson played at Global Premier Soccer in New Hampshire, 6 feet.
Adam Norman, also one of the seniors. He only played in 2 games this year, so it's an opportunity for the man in his final collegiate season. Probably the last time he'll play at this high level of organized soccer. Get a chance to say, I played in a conference championship game.
As will Brandon Garland, who's a junior from Glastonbury, Connecticut, and Houston Baptist transfer. He's also in the game. As New Hampshire puts the finishing touches on this title game victory, 12 to go.
And some of these guys are going to get some decent minutes out of it. Still 12 plus minutes here, like you just said.
Good chance to rest some of the
premier
starters. And New Hampshire had the bye. They've been at home the last couple of weeks, so not necessarily needing the rest, but you'll always take it.
And it avoids any chance of any sort of harm coming to those players as well. You never want to see that. And for UMBC either, at this point when the game is well in hand. Just everyone stay healthy.
This was the first time that New Hampshire ever hosted the America East Championship game. Their 5th time in the title game overall. Their last 2, 2010, 2012, PK losses at UMBC. Their first 2 appearances all the way back in 93 and 94. Losses to BU, and the Terriers were part of the conference. 1-0 and 3-1. So New Hampshire in their 4 previous title games only scored 1 goal, and they get 5 today. So it'll be 5th time the charm for New Hampshire to get into that championship list. And they'll do it on their home turf.
5 goals today. Must be a sign.
And they'll deny UMBC its 5th America East Championship. UMBC will close the year at 10-6-4. They're a great home team as well this year, UMBC. Retriever Soccer Park, 8-2-3, but just 2-4-3 on the road if they end up losing this one. Again, UNH will be 10-0 at home with more than likely more home game, maybe multiple home games to come.
That's what they're hoping, at least. That would be huge for them. They can get 1, maybe 2 more here up in Durham. Can never guarantee a win, obviously, but the way things are going for them, if they get to be in the friendly confines, the University of New Hampshire, it seems like it's almost a guarantee at this point.
And again, if you're any tournament team in the Northeast, this is one of the last places you want to come. Because not only does New Hampshire not lose here, but they almost never allow a goal.
Yeah, it's just those other teams have to come up something, anything they can do to get by this UNH team in their own stadium.
And we talked a lot about, obviously, the offensive output today, but again, the defense, if they can close out the shutout, there'll be 2 goals allowed in the span of 8 games. They'll have allowed only 9 goals all season, winning a championship, and they'll have allowed only 8 goals in 23 games here at Wildcat Stadium. Now, last year it was Dartmouth that came here to Wildcat Stadium, the Ivy League winner, which this year is the Princeton Tigers. So a potential first-round matchup, maybe, to come here to New Hampshire. A team that
possible.
try to at least score a goal on New Hampshire, something that no team seemingly can do right now.
And UMBC has only managed 4 shots in total today, and 2 of them were on goal, and they were both instantaneous back-to-back from Dow in the first half.
Into the game for the Retrievers, number 3, Sam Solomon.
Sam Solomon into the game for UMBC. He's a sophomore from Fort Meade, Maryland.
Let's see if Coach Karinji maybe takes out some of his seniors. I don't know how many UMBC fans made the trek all the way up here, but it's also a nod to them as well. Get kind of that handshake, round of applause as they come back, finish out their collegiate careers.
Another potential matchup for UNH could be Ryder, the Bronx, winners of the MAC. Very strong program. They had to travel to Vermont a couple of years ago in the first round of the tournament, lost 4-1. Wildcats in transition here, 3-on-3. Saki's first time ball through. Space in the 18 for the substitute. And Jones is out to grab it ahead of Brandon Garland.
Pass might have been a little bit too far ahead, but I mean, you put it out to space, let your teammates try and make a play on it. Jones, always that gamble. Came out challenged, he won. And now you know these backups as they come in, they want, as you see another look here, it's very close. They want in on the action, the scoring action. They've been sitting here on the sideline watching everything happen. They're sitting here, give me a piece of that. I want in on this.
The only teams to beat UNH this season, number 15 Virginia, way back in the season opener, 1-0. And that was an own goal in that game, late in the contest. Binghamton beat UNH in Vestal 2-1 back on September 29th, and then Stony Brook on Long Island was able to shut out New Hampshire 1-0. So those are the only 3 teams that have been able to solve this UNH squad this year. Also a couple of ties against Dartmouth and Hartford. Aside from that, all W's on the slate. Only other teams to score on New Hampshire. LIU Brooklyn got 2. Northeastern scored 1. Iona got a goal on them. And every other win's been a shutout.
Yeah, the 3-2 game against LIU Brooklyn. That's as much score, obviously in this game, 5 goals, but that's impressive for any team against UNH. A rare game where there was lots of goals on both sides.
A couple new Wildcats checking in. Conrad Chang is back in. Down at Saki will take a seat. Also in is Marcus Menidi, a junior from Italy. Get some action late here with his team in full command. 5:30 to go in the second half of this championship match. Garland gets spun around. No call against Bell. This Retriever squad, on the other hand, was 6-1-3 since the start of October.
Yeah.
Mark Hubbard mentioned that coming in, that, hey, they're the 5 seed. They're maybe not the most talented UMBC team, but 1 loss in your last 10, that's something to raise an eyebrow. And so UNH was not taking UMBC lightly at all today, and that showed from the opening couple of minutes.
And obviously the most impressive, the victory over Stony Brook in the round before this. It's a team that kind of, they knew how to handle though. Didn't lose to them at all this season, tied them back at the end of October was the final regular season game.
In the swinging free kick is low. Bell gets a piece of it. And Potzel nods it away. This will be UNH's 25th victory in the last 2 seasons. They finished last year 13-4-5. Undefeated at home and 2-1-1 against nationally ranked opposition. They were 5th nationally in goals against average last season. They entered this game 6th in the national rankings. And when they make their NCAA debut in a week or so, it'll be almost a month since their last goal allowed.
How many teams are going to be able to say that? Probably not many, if any others.
Into the final 5 minutes here at Wildcat Stadium. These fans have waited a long time to celebrate an America East title, especially one right here in Durham. 4 previous chances, all on the road at BU and at UMBC. First in the 90s, then in the 2010-2012 window. They finally get a chance to witness a title game here at UNH, and it couldn't have gone better.
Just a tremendous effort from the opening whistle of this one. It's been both sides of the ball have just been so impressive for the Wildcats today. Defense only allowing the 4 shots, 2 of them on goal. Spectacular saves from Huxell, and then 5 goals. Previous high this season was 3, so like I said earlier, couldn't have come at a better time for the Wildcats to be able to have their best offensive output of the season.
Yeah, we were talking about it at halftime as well. You know, 3-0 at that point. You think UNH is in pretty good shape. Potential MVPs.
Yep.
It's hard to pick because you get
Yeah,
5
it
goals
is,
from
yeah.
5 different guys. Valencia and Fallberg each actually have their 2nd assist here in the second half. So each of those guys have 4 points on a goal and 2 assists. So take your pick. I mean, there's a lot of guys that could win that honor right now for New Hampshire. It's really been a group effort. But if you're looking at points, Fallberg and Valencia, those are your 2 leaders.
I guess Fallberg, I mean, if you're really going to extend this out purely on the stats, he's got 2 shots on goal to just Valencia's 1. But I mean, either way, I mean, just an impressive effort, and those have been the 2 leaders obviously here today. But
well, you look at a guy as well like Johnny Wolf,
yeah,
you know, who had the 1 assist on that initial goal, so not the same numbers as the other 2, but the impact he made on both flanks was huge.
His presence was definitely felt, earned that recognition today with the amount of running he has to do on this field. Just tremendous effort all around. You can obviously always say Huxell, but he only had to make the 2 saves. I mean, we talked about that earlier too.
Yeah.
He's so impressive. Obviously, doesn't have to do as much work sometimes because the guys in front of him are so good. And that was continued to be the case today.
Yeah, really only busy for maybe 5 seconds at the end of the first half, and that was it.
I mean, important saves that he had to make. One of those goes in. I mean, that's at the end of a half, pretty close to it. And in any sport, to give up points, goals, scores, you name it, at the end of quarters, halves, periods, it can be momentum swingers. So if one of those goes in, this could be a different second half. You never know.
Yeah, that was a big point in the match. If UMBC had any chance of coming back, you felt one of those had to go in. UNH students on the far side starting to spill down behind the bench.
Yeah.
They can sense it, jumping up and down. They're ready to storm the field with their Wildcats as the shot sails high. 80 seconds to go. Wildcat faithful.
There they are.
Get their blankets on, their scarves, and they're ready to celebrate something that's never happened here in Durham, never happened overall in New Hampshire history. Is that
Coach is already shaking hands.
yeah, it's all academic at this point. Mark Hubbard become the first coach to lead UNH to an America East championship.
You can hear them now. Crowd fired up. Like I said, they're cold now. They're going to be warm pretty soon, though. All that excitement.
And Wildcat Stadium continues to dominate as a home venue. That'll be 10 straight this season for UNH and a 23-game unbeaten streak. Down to 30 seconds as Marconi is stripped of possession. Frustrating afternoon for the young Italian. It was all New Hampshire from the jump today. They scored 4 minutes and 32 seconds in from Josh Bauer's header. Valencia adding a second 6 minutes in. 3-0 at the half. New Hampshire pouring it on in the second half. And for the first time in program history on home turf, New Hampshire in men's soccer, your America East champs. What a performance today, Jeff, from this UNH team. I mean, coming in, we were kind of joking, you know, this had the feeling of a tight, scoreless game. Neither team wants to give up anything, but UNH got that first goal. They continued to press. They really didn't back off in the second half, and this was as dominant a performance as you'll ever see in a championship match.
Yeah, you'd be hard-pressed to find another championship game where a team is, one, shut out, and by two, by the amount that they were, 5-0. And like you said, the first goal kind of set the tone. UNH comes out, puts one on the board at 4:32, and then it pretty much just kind of waterfalled there for them. They had no problems getting things going, and just an impressive afternoon. Both sides of the ball, in net, everything working for them. A fun run for UMBC comes to a close. UNH now gets to celebrate. So they're the victors here today. And they get to now just await who they play in the NCAA tournament.
UNH's first championship in men's soccer history in convincing fashion in Durham. 5-0 is your final score. For Jeff Poster, Alistair Ingram, our entire crew saying so long from Durham. Your final score is UNH 5 and UMBC 0. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. New Hampshire, your America East champions in 2018. 3 goals in the first half, 2 more in the second. The Wildcats 12 wins on the season, and they finished 10-0 at home at Wildcat Stadium. They might not be done. They might be back here in the NCAA tournament for more victories. Congratulations to the Wildcats, your men's soccer champions in America East for the very first time.